What's going on, y'all? It's Jae Millz Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Here to bring you guys recaps from everything that happened last night. This is a jam-packed battle rap weekend with technically 3 events, but 2 events each day, with WTBL being split into 2 days. So going over Saturday's transactions of day 1 of the WTBL Tourney, WTBL's first official event. And then we're also going to talk about, I'm going to say, some or most of the battles from Public Influence Battle League out there in Ohio. Their stream was pretty rough when the event first started, so did not catch Jackboy versus Fax. And then also, I did not watch Mac Myron versus Osolo, which went last, because I didn't want to. There's no real good reason for that. I just simply didn't want to watch that battle. So I'm going to go over what happened on each event. And then, of course, later today, we're going to have URL's Initiation 3 event for the new talent. And then the second day of WTBL's event, which I believe could end up being the better day of the 2. But with all that being said, let's get into the battles. But we will start off with those WTBL tournament battles. First battle to talk about, first battle of the night, was Geek Girl versus J Artillery, which I think will get some of the most viewership or be remembered because there was an almost fight at the beginning of the battle. So, of course, that's what gets clipped first. That's what gets posted first. But I think it affected the battle itself. J Artillery never really mentally got back into the swing of things. It just looked like the tension kind of rattled her and got to her. Choked in her third, while Geek Girl just bombed on her for 3 rounds. Content-wise, it was just haymaker after haymaker. But her delivery, not seasoned. Like, you could tell she's amateur. I think a more experienced battler in this tournament could show that difference big time if they match up. But in this particular matchup, it didn't matter too much. And she was the first lady to take advantage of the opportunity, where I'm like, okay, going into round 2 of the tourney, Geek Girl is a name I'm going to remember because of that explosiveness she had in that performance. So not like performance of the night or anything, but the first lady to like really take advantage of the shot that she's got. So she won 3-0, advances to the next round. Next battle up was ABZ versus, I believe it's pronounced Meatris or Meactress. I'm going to keep it real. That shit says meat rice, and I'm not personally a big fan of it. We could do better in the name department. I actually had her winning the battle, me personally. I had her 3-0 at that. Neither of them were very good content-wise, in my opinion, but her delivery, like, there was a little more to her style for sure. We actually had her all 3 rounds. Judges called it different. They had it as a 3-2 split for ABZ. Just didn't see it, didn't really care for her first 2 rounds. They weren't like awful. And then her third round was super personal, talking about like, you know, you're actually a product of sexual assault, and her talking about what she said about her dead son. And when it's battlers you don't really know and it's super personal like this, it's almost like, you know, should I be watching this? Is this a personal conversation I'm listening into? So, a little bit of a bizarre battle, but I didn't think either were crazy. So, completely disagree with the judge's decision, but ABZ advances. It is what it is. Before we get in the next tournament battles too, there was a couple no-shows. It is a 32-woman tournament, so kind of expecting a couple battles at least to fall through. Peaches versus Nay. Peaches gets booked for battles. Peaches doesn't show up to battles. Simple as that. She really isn't nice. She's not even that good, so I don't know why she had any level of hype coming out of that Brick Saga, but that's donezo, so no, Nay advances. And then Zan versus Tato, another former Brick. It's just the story that never, the gift that never keeps on giving. I probably fucked that saying up. But anyways, Tato didn't show up, and then Zan advances to the next round of the tourney. So next battle, La G versus Lady Lines. Lady Lines' delivery was better. Like, there's more potential in her style, but she choked in the third. In her first, it took forever to heat up. So La G was just a bit better. She advances to the next round of the tourney. This battle actually ended up going on last of the night, I believe, but Jade versus Yima, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, doesn't really matter, because she got fucking smoked. Like, oh my god. And it just the optics of it. I mean, it was bad. Body of the night. Jade was whooping on her. Did a victory lap for it, too. I guess they were talking shit in spaces. I don't think you should really get too many stripes for beating a girl, like whoever this Yima character is. But Jade is going to be one of the more experienced in the tourney, and that round showed why she might be one of the favorites that people talk about, especially on this side of the bracket. That was ugly. Hope Trilly versus Rainfire Moon. fire. Both of these last two tournament battles I'm going to talk about were very good. Hope Trilly versus Rain. First round, I think, was close. You could edge it to Rain. From there, even though I think Rain is pretty good for the rest of the battle, it's the Hope Trilly show. Her second is, she's bombing, and her third is the best round that I probably heard that night. Maybe one of First Lady Flame's rounds is better, but Hope was getting after it. And she's another one where Hope, Mallory X, Jay Gray, Rain, Fire, Moon, and Jade. These are some of the names that I for sure know and I think are going to be some of the favorites. Zan as well. Obviously, she didn't get to rap, so she's not going to get the same amount of attention. But I thought Hope got after it. I had her 2-1 clear. Judges picked her as well in a split decision. I think it was the right call, and I think it was a good battle for both ladies. And then Mallory X versus Jay Gray, which some would even say is better. And I kind of would have expected going in because I think their momentum's been a little bit more positive lately. I've heard a little bit more about them. Mallory X ended up getting the judge decision. She is a tournament killer. Out of this new era version of the ladies, I think she won 2 smaller league tourneys. I don't know if she was in Fonz's tourney, still is. Is Fonz's tourney still going on? Who knows? But she's really good in these tournament settings, and she shows it again. Jay Gray is no slouch. She bodied Rock Lee earlier in the year. She's had some good performances lately, but Mal is just showing why she has the reputation she has. So she won the battle. I think you can debate it. And I think Jay Gray is nothing to be ashamed of. It's just 2 of the better girls on that side of the bracket matched up in the first round. Someone has to advance. Someone has to go home. So shout out Mallory X, because if she's able to win this tourney, this would be the biggest one yet. That might be the one to send her up into the bigger opportunities that people are really checking for her in. So that's the tournament battles for day 1. I thought they were pretty good. I would probably give Mallory versus Jay Gray battle of the night, but Hope and Rain is right there. Like I said, Jade, really good. And then the headliner for day 1, Chirac versus First Lady Flames. Some established, I don't know if you want to say top tier, but more known ladies in the culture going at it in the main event spot. This was an ass whooping, and that's something that Chirac has not been adverse to or a stranger to really for the last couple of years. But First Lady Flames won all the rounds of this battle. The first 2 very clear, and this First Lady Flames kind of also was having a shaky, really didn't have a good last year and a half, but from the Eon W to what she's got going on here, it does look like she's back, or at least resembling something close to being fully back. She just kicked Chirac's ass in the first 2 rounds, and sometimes Chirac will struggle with choking, or just the pace will be inconsistent, but the content's there. This was just a weak Chirac. And I mean, shit, she got whooped on by Official earlier in the year. You could go into last year, the plethora of losses that she took. I think that she got a lot of hype from the Yoshi-G win. I actually think 2023, 2 years ago, was when Chirac really looked consistent and good no matter the talent level. It's been rough for her, and she keeps getting good versions of the battlers she's in front of. Her first just isn't good. Her second's a little bit better, but just not enough for a matchup like this. And her third is her best round, but Flames still had a better round. I guess that's the closest round, but I had Flames all 3. Like I said, first 2 rounds especially is high-level Flames material, and I think it's a very good win in a pretty big spot if you're a female and female battle rap for WTBL's inaugural event and day 1 of it at that. I think you could have Flames in the performance of the night conversation overall if you really want to put Jade in there or maybe a Mallory. I'm not mad at that, but my vote might be for Flames with the clear 3-0 win. And I know Chirac's going to stay booked over there. I know she's kind of the first lady of WTBL, but she also seems to be a free kill at the moment too. So that's kind of my full thoughts on WTBL's day 1, and we'll see what happens today, especially with the Prestavia battle to cap it off. After that, we had Public Influence Battle League with their overtime event, which, if you had seen my predictions, I was excited for this event going in. I'm a big believer in what Public Influence is building there in Dayton, Ohio. Their crowd energy, way they shoot their battles, everything. Almost didn't watch this event, though, because the stream was so fucked up in the beginning. And for a good bit of time, too. Jackboy versus Fax is the victim to this. I did not watch that battle, and I didn't know if the stream would ever come back, so I was a little late coming back by the time Capo and Stumbles was on and clear on the stream. So I missed a little bit of Capo's first, and then I had some things to do, so I missed Stumbles' third and a little bit of the start of Danny and Lou Castro. So there is little fractions that I'm missing in here, but I watched like most of the battles, right? And for some of them, they're so clear, you didn't really need to watch all 3 rounds to kind of determine a winner. But for Capo and Stumbles, I had Capo. It's kind of funny. I had Capo 2-1, even though I didn't see Stumbles as third. Capo wasn't clean in his third, and Stumbles was clean all 3 is what I'm seeing. He was definitely clean in his first 2, and I think Capo is kind of admitting he didn't win that 3rd round of the battle. But I thought they're both pretty good in the first 2 rounds. I think the first round, even though I missed a little bit of Capo's round, I still feel like he won the first, so I don't know if I would have... If I saw his whole first, did something happen that would make me take the round from him? I'm not sure. Unless he was unclean, I don't think so. But I had Capo winning the first, even though Stumbles was pretty engaged. And then the second, Capo has the round of the battle from what I saw. He's very, very good. Stumbles is pretty good in this battle too. And obviously, he was more of the liability going in. So funny, I was concerned about him not showing up or living up to his name, which in this case is not a good thing. But it turns out Capo was the one unclean in the third. Still thought he won the battle in the first 2 rounds. And I want to say, I saw after, he's like, does this win over Stumbles, and I see a lot of people calling it a win, does this make a Calico, Easy, or a T-Rex battle make sense? And brother, think you had a good night. I really liked your second round, so I'm not saying criticizing, but, beating Stumbles in any fashion is not dictating getting plates like that. You don't beat like a D3 college team and then it's like, oh shit, we're going to the national championship. It just doesn't make all that much sense. So I had Capo winning that one 2-1, but I might go back and watch like the little pieces that I missed. Next, we had Danny Myers versus Lou Castro, which, as I just said, missed most of their first rounds in this battle, right? So I don't really know how the first rounds went, but I didn't really need to, because Danny kind of whooped on Lou in the last 2 rounds. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm hearing the first round went similar as well. This was one where Danny was just better, and this is a little bit of a return to the Lou Castro that I'm not the biggest fan of. And Lou has had a very good 2025. I'm happy with everything he's been doing. Seems like he's back on track. But this is Lou so much on the joking side while someone's barring him the fuck up. And it's like you need to fight some fire with fire. It's good to be an entertainer, have that comedic aspect. It's a little bit a bag that Danny Myers, I won't say can't get into, but isn't as good as you. But at some point, the jokes aren't working when the haymakers are. And that's kind of how I felt. The second is really ugly. Like, Danny just whoops on Lou. The third, I think Lou actually fights back. He's entertaining, but he has good bars to go with it. Like, it is a good third round. But this is high-level Danny Myers material. And I've kind of been saying this all year. And even though Danny's went through the drama, NBS, I'm bringing it up every time because it was so stupid, he deserves a good amount of the slander he got. But even with it being like maybe a bad optic year, this is some of Danny's best material in the last like 3 years. Like probably since 2022. This is the best I've seen Danny rap all throughout this year, whether it's Quest, whether it's Lou, whether it's King. Win or loss, Danny Myers has been Danny Myers this year. So I had him winning the second and the third clear. And if he won the first as well, like I'm hearing, you could call this a Danny Myers 3-0, but I saw 2 rounds and it's a 20. So Danny won this battle clear one way or another. I expected it to be more of a fight, but I still expected their energy to like get a positive reaction from the crowd, and it definitely did that. It was just more of a clear battle than I thought it would be. Then you have Loso versus Shotgun Suge. This is a textbook easy one to describe. You got the 90 seconds. I'm rapping exactly what I'm contracted to. Suge versus Loso, who just keeps beating people without even being overly crazy. Like a lot of Loso performances, I wouldn't say like his J2 performance. It's not a ton of those where it's like, yo, he's the performance of the night. He's crazy, but he's been good. And he's been winning for the most part. A couple losses in there, but Suge's not going to be one of them. I had Loso 3-0. I won't say like a trash Suge, but it's just not a lot of effort. It's just him like going through the motions. While Loso, it just cares more. This is a battle of someone just caring more than the other person. So I thought Loso was good. I thought he won all 3 rounds of the battle. Simple as that. Shotgun Suge, as it has been for a minute, it is donation season. You know, Christmas is coming up, he's feeling festive, and he's gifting out W's to all of his opponents. So, shout out Loso, continues a really strong 2025, and one of his higher profile wins so far versus Suge. And then, The last battle that I watched, I didn't watch Mac Myron versus Solo. I was tired. It's a lot of battle rap. I know that's not serious. I know they're fishing for some viral clips. Last battle I watched was Chess versus J2. And I said going into this battle that I had J2 because Chess would either not try, or even if he just tried enough, it just means more to J2. It's exactly how it played out. Maybe even a little bit uglier than I thought. J2 smoked, and I'd say even came really close. You might be able to consider this a body versus Chess. And right from the first round, Chess, of course, is throwing up. Chess is going to throw. He's never clean, really, right? But particularly in those first rounds, you have a better chance of spotting a white buffalo than seeing Chess wrap a first round clean. He threw up not once but twice, 2 barf breaks in the middle of his round, so the momentum's all over the place. But the story, the battle more is about J2, not just for winning, but this is like one of J2's best performances. And this reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have all seen this battle, but T-Top battled J2 earlier in the year on URL. And T-Top wasn't giving a fuck. He choked all 3 rounds. And, it's going to, of course, by default, J2 is going to win. But versus T-Top 2, J2's material is like that. So he has 2 top-tier wins this year, where even though the opponent, the bigger name, is kind of not giving a fuck, J2 is bombing all 3 rounds on him. So J2's first Chess is by far his best. He is just whooping his ass. It's like it's a 10-7 type of round, so that's ugly. Chess stumbles in the second, not throwing up. I wouldn't say a flat-out choke, but it's just not going to be enough. J2 whoops on him again. And then I guess the third would be the closest in comparison. It's the cleanest from Chess, while J2, while he still has a good round, he comes back down to earth a little from the first 2. So if you want, I guess you can say the third is close. That's why I won't flat out call it a body. But it's a career high type of performance from J2. And like I said, did it versus T-Top earlier in the year. Did it just now versus Chess. I know people have their feelings about J2 as a battler. And I'm definitely not saying, he's making it to top tier or anything like that. But you kind of got to respect performances like this, even if you take the opponent away. I never blame the opponent's performance dragging down the battle, really. Like, I'm not going to say because Chess was bad, it means less for J2. So, but you take Chess away, these rounds, this material is really like that from J2, and I thought it was worth spotlighting. And Chess is Chess. We talked about Suge being in donation season. Most of Chess's career feels like his donation season. There's just not a win-loss record out there at a high level, like a recognizable level like this, that's as bad as Chess's. I see some people throw out Verb and Arse and guys like that, but they still have some of the highest highs. Wins on the hollows, battles with the Luxes and the Mooks of the world, wins versus other top tiers and some of the biggest stages. I feel like Chess, not saying that he's never had any of those, but there's so much more in the losing, smoke, the choking, the bad department. So this is kind of the story of Chess's career. It's just another chapter to 100, but it's a big moment for J2, who I think when you mark it all down after this weekend, we'll see one of the biggest wins or biggest stock rises from anyone that battled. But that is my full thoughts and recaps for everything from last night, WTBL Day 1, as well as Public Influence Battle League's overtime event. And of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. How do you feel about Public Influence, J2's win, Loso's win, Danny Myers' win? How do you think that affects their years, especially if you view them in like a top 20 type of range? And then for WTBL, have any of them gained a fan of you? Do you have a favorite for the tournament now, or at least someone that you're rooting for? Any thoughts on the battles? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Good or bad, we can get some dialogue going. And then last thing I want to talk about, just for a little bit before I get out of here, is Jae Millz, man. Got to give Jae Millz some credit. It has been hard for him since his return versus K-Shine. Battlers give him shit. Fans give him shit. Media give him shit. I've definitely given him shit, right? And I didn't really report much. I see people doing videos every time a diss track is dropping between him and DNA and Goodz. I thought this would be more short-lived in the beginning. Just be a couple tracks between him and DNA. So I just kind of thought it would come and go, but it's turned into like a real thing, and it's got great energy. I love the back and forth. And Jae Millz is putting belt to ass. I can't lie to you. And if you had told me when this situation started, he'd make DNA and now especially Goodz look silly, I did not see that coming. But I think there was a little bit of overconfidence. It obviously starts from pretty organically from the podcast, disagreement, the back and forth. And I think that Millz has been so underwhelming in the ring, battling, that to even it out, I actually think DNA pretty much said, well, I'm going to go call him out on beat, right? And they thought maybe he just forgot how to rap because it's been so bad in the ring. But I'm going to compare this to like when UFC guys or MMA fighters fight a boxer in a boxing match, right? You see those mega matches kind of get put together and it sounds cool, like, it'll generate, but each lane is its own for a reason, right? In the ring, I still don't think Jae Millz could beat DNA or Goodz. Like, I haven't seen him apply this to battle rap yet. But on track, and I know Goodz had a line like, you made it to the league, but you were a role player. Well, he was in the league, though, one way or another, and you weren't in the league. And that difference is being shown on beat right now. Jae Millz is a better rapper, not a better battle rapper, but a better rapper than DNA and Goodz. And I actually think DNA's fought back a little bit more, not a lot of bit more, a little bit more than people give credit for. I'd probably give him the round where he had Story of Jarvis. I thought that was a really good diss track. I think DNA is rap good, but Jae Millz is rapping circles around him. The beats, the production is a little bit better. The way he's flowing is a bit better. Because, like, content-wise, DNA had done some things, but this is the difference. In battle rap, maybe content-wise, that would, it would be such a big difference. But on track, there's so many more things that go to it, and Jae Millz is showing that. And, already people had him winning through the first 2 rounds. By the time he drops DNA and Never Been Outside, fucking forget about it. It's the best track any of them have dropped. So he whoops on DNA. He wins that. Then Goodz, after all this time, steps out. Cypher Goodz. Everyone's like, Goodz is going to be the one to do something. And he comes out rapping like The Rock. Not Tay-Rock. I'm talking about Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. You know when he did the song with Tech Nine? It's about knowledge. It's about power. Let's take what's ours. That's what the fuck Goodz is rapping like. I don't know what in the high school football coach flow he had going on. There's more singing in the chorus than there is raps in the song. It's just bad. And then I thought about it. I'm like, I haven't really heard Goodz do a diss track before. So maybe this just isn't his lane, and it goes to show he's a legendary battler. And he's considered one of the best we have pure rapping-wise with the ciphers and all that. But this is the difference. UFC to boxing. And this is boxing, brother. You're one of the best when it comes to this league. When it comes to this, Millz, and then Millz dropped the track. He didn't even need to respond. It's almost mean-spirited that he did respond. And he did in 1 track to Goodz what it took 3 tracks to do to DNA. So if you had told me when this started, Jae Millz would be by far getting some of the best stock, some of the most praises he's gotten since he came back to battle rap, I wouldn't have seen it going that way, but it kind of makes it fun when it's unexpected. And this is one where you got to give credit where credit's due. And it's actually been so dominant that Millz' next battle, if he does have a next battle booked, is probably going to have some more hype. People are going to have some hope that he could bring whatever he's doing on the tracks to the ring. If he could bring this to this, but it's not the same thing, and that's the problem. Because content-wise, it's not like Millz has been the craziest, but he's just flowing circles around them. And content-wise, actually, his Goodz diss, which I think he probably wanted to battle Goodz more than DNA, which is why I think it's just every aspect of it is just a little bit more serious, but he really put the fucking pause on Goodz in that track, man. So we'll see how it all ends up, but as of right now, he is taking 2 of our legends out pretty bad as we speak. But that's my thoughts on that. The recaps there, the Jae Millz situation. Any thoughts that you have, agree or disagree, let me know in the comments section down below, man. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.